Hey everyone, today we are diving into a skill that is absolutely critical for anyone trying to break into consulting: how to build objective-driven frameworks. This whole approach comes straight from the experts over at Custom Case Coach, and I promise you it's going to completely change how you think about solving problems. So, let's jump right in.
All right, imagine you're in the interview, you're in the hot seat, and the interviewer gives you a classic case prompt. Our client wants to know if they should enter a new market. So, what do? How do you kick things off? Seriously, take a second. What's your gut reaction? Because for a lot of people, this is right where the first major mistake happens.
And yeah, that mistake, it actually has a name. We call it the list of words framework. Now, at first glance, it seems totally logical, but as we're about to see, it completely misses the whole point of what a consultant is actually getting paid to do.
Does this look familiar to you? I bet it does. You've probably seen something just like it in a casebook. You say, okay, first I'll look at the market, then the company, then the financials. You start listing all the right buzzwords: size, growth, capabilities, cost. And look, here's a tough love. This is not a great framework. The topics themselves, they're fine, but the structure, it's just not there.
This is some of the most powerful and direct feedback you can get. This comes straight from Custom Case Coach, and it's a line that interviewers are often thinking, you're just saying words. It's blunt for sure, but it's true. Just listing a bunch of topics doesn't show the client how you're going to use that info to solve their problem. It's like you're reading from a dictionary, not laying out a strategy.
And that's really the core of it, right? The client already knows what market size and competition are. They are not paying you a ton of money for a vocabulary lesson. No, they're paying you for a clear, logical, step-by-step plan of attack to solve their huge, high-stakes problem.
So this brings us to the big mindset shift. We've got to move away from just listing topics and start building our frameworks with a really clear objective in mind. Honestly, this is how all the top-tier consultants think, and it's how they communicate.
So what does objective-driven even mean? Well, think of it this way. It's a plan where every single piece of your analysis, every single step you take, has a very clear purpose. You're not just saying, I'll look at the price. You're explaining why you're looking at the price and how that piece of information gets you one step closer to the final answer for the client. Every step is about moving the ball down the field.
So, let's rebuild that framework from the ground up. Instead of a list of words, you present a three-step plan. Step 1. We need to figure out if this market is even attractive in the first place. Step 2. Assuming it is, can we, our specific company, actually win here? And finally, Step 3. Even if we think we can win, can we realistically pull it off and execute the entry? Can you just feel how much more powerful and confident that sounds?
Okay, so now let's actually build out this blueprint. We're going to take all those same topics we had before, market, company, financials, but we're going to slot them into our new objective-driven structure.
For that first big question, is the market attractive? We now have a clear mission. We're going to look at market size and growth, not because they're on some generic checklist, but specifically to answer the question of attractiveness. We'll analyze margins and competition to see if there's even a real prize to be won here. Then, for Step 2, can we win? This is where we turn the lens inward and look at our own company. But again, it's not a random list of our strengths. We're asking super targeted questions. Do our capabilities actually line up with what customers in this specific market want? Is the thing we're selling genuinely better than what's already on the shelves?
And finally, for Step 3, can we execute? This is where we get down to the brass tacks, the reality check. The financials finally come into play, but they're framed around action. Do we actually have the money for this? Do we have the right people and the right know-how? And maybe most importantly, is the potential return on this investment better than all the other things we could be spending our time and money on?
Okay, get ready for the aha moment. Let's put these two approaches right next to each other, side by side, so you can really see the transformation from a simple list into a professional-grade project plan.
This comparison says it all. On the left, you've got what's basically a grocery list of topics. It's disorganized. On the right, you have a strategic blueprint. Each of those questions is now a work stream. That's real consulting lingo, by the way. It's a distinct part of a project plan designed to get to an answer. Workstream A, Workstream B, Workstream C. This is how you show an interviewer that you have a real plan. And hey, just a quick pro tip here. You don't always have to phrase these as questions. You could just as easily say something like, first, I want to confirm the market is attractive by analyzing its size and growth. The delivery style can change. What matters, what's absolutely non-negotiable, is that the underlying logic, that clear, objective-driven plan, shines through.
And you know what? When you can consistently turn these vague business topics into a clear, logical plan of attack with distinct work streams, that's it. That's the whole secret. That is how you go from being a candidate who knows the lingo to becoming a true frameworking master.
So I'll just leave you with this one question to take with you into all of your case prep. The next time you're building a framework, stop for a second and ask yourself, am I just writing down a grocery list of business terms, or am I actually building a powerful, actionable plan of attack? Trust me, the difference between those two is everything.